Hey, what's happening, y'all? I'm back. Well, it's only been a couple of days, so it hasn't really been a long stretch of a layoff, but I'm back. I have other things going on outside my life, away from YouTube, that is, or the YTBC by that matter. But haven't lost any insight on what's going on in the world of boxing. I'm aware of the upcoming fights and the upcoming situation with the particularly with the heavyweight division and whatnot, which is a great thing. But I'm going to ahead and provide you some insight on that. First things first, Audley Harrison appeared in the news today, and this is an article from Boxing Scene. Shout out to them, by the way. Audley Harrison was asked about his take and his insight on the upcoming bout between the IBF heavyweight title fight between Anthony Joshua and Charles Martin, which will take place at the O2 Arena in London, which I'm looking forward to. And I think it takes place this weekend. So definitely looking forward to that fight. Joshua said here, quote, I'm sorry, not Joshua, Audley Harrison. Audley Harrison said here, quote, and I'm going to read these quotes from here. He said here, quote, he's obviously going down the same road as I was trending, and he's getting there. But each man has his own light to shine, and this is AJ's time. Harrison also believes that adding the world title to Olympic success will even eclipse the achievement of the outspoken world heavyweight world heavyweight number one champion and contender Tyson Fury. Well, Tyson Fury is no longer contender. He's actually the linear heavyweight champion. He is more happy to give the WBA Super and WBO title holder credit and respect for beating Vladimir Klitschko last November, but expects the nation to see Anthony Joshua as their number one if he comes through against Charles Martin. Harrison also added that even though my Olympic title was down in Australia, as a lot of people from our country were staying up in the middle of the night to see what was happening, people are talking about things like Tyson Fury taking belts off of Klitschko, but even that doesn't have the same impact as was Joshua winning Will. He further went to explain that it is the culmination of the journey that has of his validation winning the world title. But that is just the first step that he can take. That's why I am right behind him. It's such a powerful movement. Now, I'm going to leave it there. Now, in case you guys don't know who Audley Harrison is, Audley Harrison is obviously a former heavyweight contender from coming out of Britain. He won Olympic gold in Sydney 2000 in the super heavyweight division, just like Anthony Joshua. And he was winning. He was entered after the Olympics from Sydney. He turned pro, and he had 19 straight victories. At that time, he was groomed to be the next Lennox Lewis. So there was a lot of hype and promotion around him. Very similar to Anthony Joshua to a degree. Very similar, but obviously Joshua is, we have to say, honestly, he's more accomplished than Audley Harrison at this point. But I'll get to that in a second. But Audley Harrison had some career setbacks, which made him one of the most underachieved heavyweights of our time. Some would argue that it all started with the loss to Danny Williams at the time, who was becoming over the hill, who was becoming overweight in some fights. The same Danny Williams that knocked out an over the hill Mike Tyson, who eventually got knocked out by Vitaly Klitschko on a pay-per-view back in 2004. All right, but all fairness, credit to Audley Harrison, he did avenge that loss against Danny Williams. But after his first loss against Danny Williams, he had suffered a second straight loss against Dominic Wynn, at the time a prime Dominic Wynn. Then rebounded with victories over Andrew Greasley and, of course, Danny Williams by knocking him out. And then he suffered his first knockout loss to Michael Sprott. From there, it went downhill. He didn't really have any significant wins. He failed to win the British Commonwealth title during those stretches of that time when he was coming up. Eventually, the greatest highlights of Audley Harrison's career is that he won the prize fighting tournament. He won the prize fight tournament He was an Olympic gold medalist, and he was the European champion by knocking out Michael Sprott, the same man he lost to 2 years prior. Well, actually 3 years prior. So after the Michael Sprott fight, he vacated that European title and got a shot at David Haye for the WBA title. We all know that David Haye was coming off his win against Nikolai Wlad. All right, and a lot of people, I believe, were protesting that bout even being made because they, to the British public eye, people felt that Audley Harrison didn't work hard enough to even earn a shot against Haye. All right, and at that time, people were really disgusted and despised Audley Harrison to a degree, which I felt that was kind of way over the top to a degree. I mean, yes, he said a lot of things. He said things he shouldn't say, particularly about Herbie Hyde, which a lot of people didn't take kindly, especially the British public. Where he called out Hyde during one of his in the middle of his fights, I believe. Or actually, after the fight, it was a post-fight interview. He called out Hyde, and it caused a arena riot when he called out Hyde and got in his face, whatnot. But I guess it stemmed from there. But anyhow, a lot of people felt that he didn't deserve that shot against Haye. So he did get the shot going into the fight against Haye. This is probably the worst performance I've ever seen come from a fighter. Okay, I've seen a lot of worse performances, but this actually was the top of the list in my opinion. Where Audley Harrison in 3 rounds in that fight only threw one punch. One freaking punch. I could be over-exaggerating here, but somebody, my UK subscribers, please help me out on that. But as I recall, he only threw one punch in that fight, while David Haye was just hitting him with barrage of punches, letting him, got his way with Audley Harrison, and pretty much did what he wanted to do with him, kind of like similar to the Mark DeMori situation, if you ask me. But of course, the Mark DeMori fight only lasted 1 round, but this lasted 3 rounds, and Audley Harrison didn't do a goddamn thing. And a lot of people speculated, including me, that after that fight, after that TKO loss, and he didn't respond to he couldn't continue. A lot of people felt that he took a dive. A lot of people did, including me. He got paid millions and millions of pounds, and he didn't even put up an effort to even earn that money. And Derek Chisora would agree with me on that because he felt that was a disgraceful performance by Audley Harrison. And he said, quote, that if I ever performed like that, I wouldn't be damned that I ever show my face in public like that again. Ever. And after that fight, I believe that Audley Harrison's purse was being held up because some people felt that he took a dive. And I think the British Board of Boxing Control, I think that was them that were investigating the matter. I have to go back and look into it. But some authority was investigating the matter. They held up Audley Harrison's purse for a while, and then they ultimately cleared him from wrongdoing, and they ultimately gave him his purse, which I felt that he didn't really earn it, but hey, it is what it is. But after that, I think he was contemplating retirement. I think he was away for a while. He took a long layoff after he took a long layoff after the Haye fight, and then he came back and fought Ollie Adams, and then he lost to David Price, KO'd in the first round for the British and Commonwealth titles. He entered prize fighting again. He entered it again, and he won it again. So he actually won the prize fight tournament twice. Hey, all power to him. And then his last fight was against Deontay Wilder when he was steamrolled in that first round. I mean, this is the fight when Wilder was just throwing some wild-ass hooks from left to right. I mean, he was just throwing them wildly, and they were coming in fast, too. And Audley Harrison couldn't even see him coming, but it is what it is. But, this video is not to really, discredit Audley Harrison. That's not my intent. I just wanted to give you guys an idea what he's about. And I'll let you come to your conclusion whether he has credibility about his assessment on Anthony Joshua and his take on the potential outcome of the Joshua and Martin fight if Joshua were to win. To be honest with you, it would be monumental for Joshua to win that fight. It would be something pretty historic, especially a pro fighter who was Olympic gold medalist, who's into his 16th pro fight, and he becomes world champion. That's something unprecedented. And he's a commodity. He's a hot commodity. He's extremely popular in Europe, obviously, especially in Britain. He did over 400,000 pay-per-view buys. in his last fight against Dillian White. And this is a prospect, by the way, coming from a prospect. And I know, the pay-per-view buys over there in the UK is much more cheaper than it is here in the US. But hey, a pay-per-view buy is a pay-per-view buy, okay? It's $20 over there, and it's about what, minimum $40, $50 over here. But hey, it is what it is. But anyhow, let me know what you think. I'll drop a comment in the description box below. Let me know what you think about Audley Harrison's assessment of Anthony Joshua. And is he right? Do you agree or disagree with this assessment? Care to comment, share, subscribe, signing off. Peace.